Are brands allowed to do pop-up events at locations without talking to the venue first? Let's talk to a lawyer and find out.
My name is Tony Iliakostas. I'm an adjunct professor of entertainment law and IP at New York Law School, and I have an Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok account called The IP Professor that is dedicated to all things intellectual property.
Tony, when it comes to brands doing events, we've started to see a new trend of people jumping into different venues and doing pop-up events without speaking to the venue in advance, meaning they go into a cafe or a store and they do an event, but that location had no idea that this was happening. Can you talk to us about the legal side of this?
Yeah, there's a lot to dissect on a story like this. Let's start with the most obvious thing, which is that this kind of behavior is completely unacceptable. And remember, when you're using someone else's venue, you're not just asking for access to the place itself, but you're asking for access to services like basically, let's say, access to amenities like a bathroom, heck, even the lighting, whatever it is, all of it is relevant to the proper rental of a specific venue. So if you go into a space that you have no contract for between you and the venue, then basically what you're doing is you're engaging in public trespass at that point.
Mm-hmm.
You are using someone else's space in a manner that would otherwise be deemed illegal. There was no meeting of the minds. There was no discussion at the bargaining table where the venue offers a price and the person that wants to use the venue offers a counter offer. There was no negotiation. There was no offer, acceptance, consideration. The elements of a contract are non-existent in a scenario like this. And obviously, when you do that, it's pretty clear you're not only just violating, let's say, some type of rule that the venue itself has, but you're potentially violating laws generally speaking. So as I mentioned, public trespass, which is a very real issue, happens all the time. We see it even in a scenario where people may, just give you an idea, this unrelated to something like this, there was a story related to someone named Chris Martin, who was actually facing a lawsuit, I think he still is actually, with Disney over making basically counterfeit Mickey Mouse ears. Mm-hmm. The problem with him, though, was that he repeatedly refused to acknowledge cease and desist from Disney, claiming that he infringed on the copyright and trademarks related to Disney. Mainly related to his website, he used specific fonts that were exclusive to Disney. He used a lot of names that were identifiers for Disney characters and what have you. And he actually used certain copyrighted material on the fabric itself of the ears. So there were like umpteen issues related to it. He contends that that the Mickey Mouse ears are not protected under the trademark or copyright law. He's kind of missing the point there. But what also happened is he was kicked out of Disney World and actually permanently banned from going to the park for violating his annual pass holder agreement. Why? Because it came out that he was using his counterfeit Minnie Mouse ears to go to the theme parks and take pictures of models in them on site where he did not have a proper license with Disney World staff to be able to take photos of his products, what have you. And as a result of that, he faced a permanent ban. He was charged with public trespass by the Orange County Sheriff's Department, and he's never been back at Disney World ever since. Probably he's going to face that same ban even at Disneyland if he ever goes out west. All that to say, in that scenario, if public trespass can happen to someone like him, and let's say you have a pop-up event at a venue, a small venue, a coffee shop, let's say a bakery, whatever, what's not stopping you from also getting a public trespass charge? And then, as if that weren't enough, if let's say you have this venue pop-up where an influx of people come in and the venue can't house those people, that poses a major fire safety hazard. And what if that given day a fire safety inspector came in and saw that could be an instant failure. That could be a ripe scenario of some type of violation under fire safety regulations in that town, in that ordinance, maybe even in the state. So this just poses a multitude of different issues. So if you're a brand and you're watching this and you're thinking about doing a venue work or doing a pop-up at a venue, please don't. Contact the venue first, get the permission, get something in writing, pay up your fees to use that venue appropriately with access to amenities and such. And once and only once you've done that, then you can have your event. But we cannot be in the business of just recklessly invading someone else's business for the sake of self-benefit and profit. That's just not how it works.
And it's important to know that you can still do a surprise pop up where it's a surprise for your audience, but not for the people who are going to be hosting your audience. So there are ways to still make this happen, but do it safe and legally protected so nobody's going to get in trouble as you're doing this. And if you've got questions, the best place to go is to your lawyer. Your lawyer will be able to guide you through this process, make the connections for you if you need, handle all the things to make this actually happen the way you need it to grow your business and to host a really cool pop-up. But you got to do it right, and with your lawyer's help is going to be most beneficial to you if you do not want to do it by yourself. But of course, if you've got questions on things similar to this, Tony's here for upcoming episodes to get those questions answered. And as always, you can reach out to Tony on his social media. Tony, where can everybody find you?
You can find me on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok at the IP Professor. You can check out my entertainment law podcast called End Scene, with new episodes dropping every Friday on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Drop your questions down below. Tony's coming back for upcoming episodes to keep us legally protected in the entrepreneurial space, and we have daily videos helping you navigate the world of entrepreneurship to make this your most profitable year ever with the least amount of stress, time, and overwhelm involved in your content creation. We'll see you in the upcoming episodes.